develop their young minds. And these are critical years, especially the years that Gray is at right now, and many others across our community. But I know it was a great day for a lot of kids and a lot of parents, probably some tears as well as some shouts of joy as well, because kids were back in school.
And that's always, it's a two-way kind of street there when you talk about that. It's been a long summer, and a lot of parents want to say, okay, finally. And you don't want to look at school as a babysitter, but it changes a parent's perspective on how they do what they do during the week and during the day when you have to juggle kids.
Well, and it's a big day for the schools. I mean, teachers, your workers, your bus drivers. I mean, think about the bus drivers out there rolling these buses. First big day of school. So just a big, my hat's off to Dr. Bracy and the work that he's done in just a short amount of time he's been here, as well as the school board, as they got the school system, one of the largest in the state. I think it's the fifth largest in the state, ready to, open back up and bring thousands of kids back in and teach our children.
We've lost some numbers because the school system used to have like 52,000 or so. We're down, I think, down to 48,000. And we'll have a better count of that as the first 10 days or so goes. But part of it has to do with there's a lot of private schools, a lot of Christian schools where students are now not in the public school system and are being taught in other places. And we are doing a better job, I think, in terms
And
of
homeschooling.
well, yes, and homeschooling. That's exactly right. And I think we're doing a better job at trying to provide some good teacher incentives and pay to get teachers to stay in the classroom. People are walking away in droves.
I mean, that's important. I mean, you've got to have, good, solid schools, not just the facilities, but you've got to have the teacher population, just the school staff that you need. And, for many years we weren't competitive. And, the formula by which the state calculates teacher supplements is still skewed, in my opinion, and many others. Is something that we work on our state legislative agenda every year, along with the school board, and we're in one voice on that. That we'd like to see them adjust that supplement formula that they have. But what we did is we just took the matters into our own hands at the board level, and we made a commitment last year to be the top in the region. That way, we're not losing people to Hoke and Harnett County who can drive over the line and make $6,000 more, $8,000 more a year.
Well, in this economy,
that's impactful.
I was going to say that's a
right.
big deal.
That's right.
With the way gas prices are, just the total economic situation for most people. I mean, you make an additional $6,000 a year. It means a difference in child care or
right.
whatever you're going to spend that money for in terms of taking care of yourself and being able to make a living for yourself. We talked about the buildings. You made a good point here. We have good teachers, good folks. There's discussion about a new E.E. Smith High School, and we've closed some schools, and Ferguson is now open, and so there's a lot of repurposing of some of the buildings and everything.
Right.
And one thing I remembered, I went to Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio, in 1975. 74, a tornado came through Xenia, Ohio, went right down Highway 42 and went to the campus of Central State and just blew it apart. And when I arrived on campus, they were having classes in tents, and there were,
Wow.
And for those of us who in this area who've lived through tornadoes, I mean, there were steps leading up to buildings that weren't there anymore.
Wow.
Fire escapes going up where the building used to be, but the building's gone. I remember stories from some of the students who said they were in Beacom Gym, and the roof went off the top, and some of the students started getting sucked up, and people grabbed them by their waist to hold them down. And so, and I just paint that picture just to say, in the collapse of all those buildings and in the issues that we have with deferred maintenance and everything, one thing remains constant, and that is the faculty and staff.
That's right.
And the teachers. Despite all that devastation at the university, I graduated with honors and went on to do okay things. And so the point is, there are a lot of students right now going through the Cumberland County school system with challenging buildings and things like that. But the faculty and staff is the backbone of what makes our school system great.
And that's exactly right. And, it's just like, any corporation, your people are your biggest asset. And within our, the large school system that we have, the teachers, the administration, the cafeteria workers, the bus drivers, the janitorial staff, they're the ones that are, wrapping their arms around our children every day. And they're the ones that are nurturing them, that are helping them grow, creating those pathways for opportunities, and wearing a lot of hats. We don't have enough, school nurses. We don't have enough, social workers and guidance counselors in the schools. And so a lot of times those teachers and sometimes administrators are wrapping their hands around, the kids and helping them with, things that, may not be in the school curriculum, but things that they're dealing with in life, and they're making an impact. So we're extremely grateful. I know I am, and I know many across this community are.
7:37 right now. KIRK deVIERE is the chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. Joins us every Tuesday with an update on things that are happening. Going to hold you over here for a second. Right now, we've got local news from CBS 17.
Good morning. I'm Greg Funderburg from the CBS 17 newsroom. One person is dead this morning after a utility truck crash in Cumberland County. State Highway Patrol says it happened yesterday on Highway 24 near Downing Road. That's when investigators say a car pulled out in front of the utility truck. The driver of the car died on the scene. Highway Patrol is investigating. Today, Governor Josh Stein is set to head to Hendersonville to announce new opportunities to bring Western North Carolinians back home after Hurricane Helene. This comes as the new state budget entails $700 million for hurricane recovery. It was the state's third recovery package since Stein took office last year. The Lenovo Center is seeking more than 300 part-time employees to work at events including hockey, basketball, and concerts. Officials are hosting a hiring event today from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. at the Lenovo Center. Open positions include catering services, changeover crew, concession stand attendants, and retail associates. Looking ahead, the Durham Bulls will be giving you a chance to snap a photo with the Stanley Cup today. The trophy will be at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park for the Bulls matchup against the Norfolk Tides. First pitch is set for 6:45, but the gates will open early for anyone who wants to see the cup. It will be on display from 5:30 until 9 p.m. You can buy your tickets to the game online. From the CBS 17 newsroom, I'm Greg Funderburg.
Today will be mostly sunny with a high temperature of 89 degrees. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low of 68, and Wednesday will be mostly sunny, but thunderstorms will arrive late in the day with a high of 92. Rain chances will increase Thursday and Friday as a weak cold front approaches the area. However, don't expect a major cool down with high temperatures staying in the upper 80s and low 90s. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunzing.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Right now, 65. That's the number in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also at Fort Bragg. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.
This report is sponsored by United States Department of Veterans Affairs.
The hardest part was figuring out where to go. Safeguard Veterans connected me to people and resources that understood military life.
Veteran-focused support, local connections. Visit safeguardveterans.net and click on your city. Safeguard Veterans. Any door, the right support.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215215. That's HIM to 215215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
When was the last time your CPA brought you a strategy that dramatically saved you taxes? This is Roger Harris, president of Whitehorse Financial. The two biggest robbers of wealth are debt and taxes. Our team of tax attorneys and tax planners help successful people legally pay less tax. If you have over $1 million in retirement accounts or you're selling a business or real estate, we may be able to help. Call 910-339-2625 for a 15-minute discovery call or visit whitehorse-financial.com. whitehorse.financial.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. This is Charles Evans, and I approve this message.
Hello, this is Super Trav, owner of Midway Barbershop. Every day I talk to folks about safety, jobs, and what our county really needs. That's why I'm endorsing Charles Evans for County Commissioner at Large. Charles listens, he shows up, and he fights for small businesses and working families. He understands our community because he's part of our community. If you want leadership that's real and accountable, join me in supporting Charles Evans. Let's move our county forward together.
Paid for by the committee to elect Charles Evans.
Good morning, Fayetteville with Gilbert Bays on WFNC News Talk 640 AM and now on 103.5 HD2 WFNC.
News Talk 640. Hey, we want KIRK deVIERE to be seen all over the world. With that music on there, we get censored. All of a sudden, Facebook says, hey, you played the Motown sound, and so you're not going to be seen in 14 countries. KIRK wants to be seen in all countries around the world.
Yeah.
I found out the hard way. I look at my Facebook page on these podcasts and everything. There's a yellow thing saying you're being censored in certain countries. I get over it.
So you got to turn the volume down before you.
It came up for a second. That may just be enough for you to be the boot given to you quicker than I want to give it to you.
That's right.
Some of the best conversations happen when these mics are off. I always say that, because you and I talked heart to heart about why good people don't run for office. And there's just so much with the internet right now that's going on that no one is accountable about what they say.
Well, it's not even what they're and people should take accountability for what they say. And it's one of the reasons why I try to do our chairman's chat once a month so that the press comes in and the press in our community helps us get out the facts, because a lot of times the facts aren't out there. I sat at an event the other day and I listened to just, inaccurate, I'll put it that way, and probably, not their fault of their own, they just had, a little bit of wrong information, and they're putting out wrong information, and then that becomes fact in some ways. So I think the other thing that we see, right now is, nobody just wants to, have a conversation, and if you disagree on something, you end up attacking the other person, and it's just become so, we're seeing it more and more. It doesn't matter the conversation. It doesn't matter the political party within the political party, within wherever. People are just having these conversations where they're screaming at each other instead of listening to each other.
Well, and you make a good point. They're screaming. And so it is the emotion at which people deliver their message that to them makes it seem like it's true. And for anyone hearing, if they're saying it like that, that's got to be the truth. So-and-so said that. And then when, you debunk what they say, it's like, oh, okay. And there's no accountability. And I mentioned to Paul, yes, I said this last hour, to Paul and Sharon Moyer from City View Media, that when we report something with great vigor and the facts are there and they're really juicy, and we find out that that's not the case, we don't report the fact that something has been found not to be true, or if a person has been found innocent with the same.
I've been a victim of that
sure,
several times, and have had conversations with local reporters and opinion writers about just that. You report something, and then when it's found to be not accurate, you don't go back and report it the same way you did in the stories out there, and it lives.
Well, yes, that's right, and that's the main thing. Back in the day, we didn't have the internet.
Right.
I'm talking about back of the day, but it's here now, and unfortunately for many young folks, they don't realize walking around with their tongue hanging out or something on their head is going to come back when it comes time to get a job, or be admitted to a school, or get an apartment, or whatever it might be. And so it's up to those of us who have the ears of our children and the folks that we mentor to let them know, be careful what you're doing out here.
Yeah, and back on this community dialogue, it is good, and we don't want to discourage people from being engaged in the community. I think we've got in our community right now, we probably have a heightened engagement, whether it's around what's happening with data centers or just some of the other conversations that are happening in the community. We've got people that are engaging, on all different sides and beginning to have these conversations, which is good. It's how our community will move forward. Is what we need to do. We just need to be respectful when we have the conversations and disagree. It's fine if you're on opposite sides of something. Find the points, have a discussion. But we need people engaged in our community, and I think we see more of that. That's how we're going to be, better off today than we were yesterday in last year. So we're going to hear hopefully some of that at the State of the Community today. The Chamber has their State of the Community. I mean, we've got all kind of speakers there. Hats off to Nat Robertson, the CEO of the Chamber, and his team over there and the program they put together. We're going to have a congressman there. Congressman Richard Hudson's coming in. The auditor, David Bullock's going to be there. Of course, Mayor Mitch Colvin will be speaking. Dan Weatherly from the hospital. Myself. I think you've got somebody from the realtors as well speaking. So it's going to be a good FSU. So Chancellor Allison is going to kind of give an update from his perspective. As well. So it should be a good update for the community and talk about where we're going as a community, the things that we can do, but more importantly, how we can move together, how we can move forward together. And we don't always have to agree. We just need to say, we want to go from here to here. And I think when you're having that hard conversation with somebody, there's always points you can find to agree on. And that's the problem. Compromise has become a dirty word in some ways.
And the Chamber's event is a ticketed event.
It is a ticketed event,
and I think
I think it's sold out.
I was going to say I think it's sold out. So there's no sense in saying it's going to be here. This is the location. People are going are going to be there.
My point in it is it's a great way to have a community conversation. The Chamber's done a good job of really reviving that program in our community. And it creates, they're just like the newsmaker that City View did several weeks ago. It creates those conversations and that dialogue in the community. We need to be talking about who we are and what we want to be.
Yeah, and Sharon Moyer was mentioning the next one that's going to be coming up and what the focus is going to be on that as well.
That was going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah, and so we look forward to those conversations, and when they're generated and you have a diverse crowd of folks offering perspectives. It really tells a lot about this community. And I don't think that the average person who hasn't lived here for many years understands the diversity that's here. We have people from all over the country, but all over the world who decided to make this community home. And I think that's the unique thing about Cumberland County and Fayetteville that other towns across the state really can't celebrate. You're here. You ended up here.
Yeah, came here because of the military.
Yeah, and so you could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, could have left after the fact. So
right.
I mean, when I decided to stop working with AIT and kind of look to do some entrepreneurial things, I could have moved anywhere. Had some opportunities to move in other places along the way, but this is home and this is where I put down roots, and more importantly, it's where I chose to put down roots, and that's what we want. Not only people that grew up here, but the people that make a conscious choice to choose our community and to put their shoulder into it and to help it make it better.
Well, but now you're, as the chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, you're in the position to help paint the picture of what others people see about our community in terms of entertainment events.
That's right.
Making businesses other than being a bedroom community in Fort Bragg come here And you guys are doing that.
Yeah, we have to do that foundational work, where I think we're playing a little catch up, as I've talked about before, whether it's infrastructure or schools or, what we're doing with mental health and other public safety issues. But, we're committed to doing it. We're committed to building that foundation and working with our smaller municipalities as this community continues to grow and continues to look for the opportunities that we know that we're here. Look, a drone manufacturer looked all across the United States, looked at 2 other states and 2 other locations and chose us. You got a Maryland developer, brought private capital here into our business, into our military business park. Why? Something's happening here.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't do that. That's private dollars coming here.
All right, we're down to about 3 or 4 minutes here, and time just really gets away because you and I just have Ranger buddy conversations
just good
here.
Conversation.
Yeah, and which is good and healthy for our community to hear.
Fireside kind of conversation.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think that's important for everybody to hear a different perspective from you other than banging the gavel and saying the next person or whatever it might be. Is there something that you want to talk about specifically that happened with the chamber, with the Board of Commissioners?
No meeting this week. We meet again. We'll be announcing we're moving our meeting off of the Labor Day weekend to the previous week. So our next meeting will be next Tuesday, actually. So I'll be in, and then we'll have our meeting next Tuesday on the 1st. And that'll be our morning meeting. That'll also be where I do the chairman's chat. That's up on YouTube. So if you want to watch that as well, all our meetings are streamed live, which is important. We're just continuing the work that we've laid out to do, tied back to our strategic plan, and continue to try to move this community in the direction that we need to.
You have plans for the Labor Day weekend yourself? It's going to go away.
We've got a little bit of plans. My son is playing flag football, and they have their combine, kind of quote unquote, that early that weekend. So we'll be doing that a little bit, and we'll be working with him to get him ready for that, and then participating in that weekend.
Well, you make a good point because there are a lot of families in this community, a lot of military folks here who call this community home. They are referees, they're coaches.
That's right.
They're in our school system.
That's right.
They're 6,000 or so. I don't know how many employees of those actually are former military personnel, but we make up a good bulk of what happens down here in this community, and so we're proud of our service. And we may have taken off the uniform, but we've not taken off the mission, as far as I'm concerned.
You got to keep serving, and we've got a great community that both part of the military and outside the military that are doing that every day. And we've got good people across this community that give back, and that's important. I can't tell you over the last week the different amount of events, from going to seeing, a brand new company that's launching to help mentor and tutor kids. I went to the groundbreaking of a veteran's home over by Operation Inasmuch that the Huffs, Ralph and Linda Huff, are donating.
It's $1 million or
Yeah, it's
so?
$1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, just a level. Things are happening here right now, Gilbert. People are beginning to get more engaged. Again, I know we're having hard conversations around data centers, and some people are frustrated on, what schools were closed or changed. But I just went to the $70 million opening of the College of Education at Fayetteville State. Just incredible work that Chancellor Darrell Allison is doing over at Fayetteville State. Just had a check signing ceremony over at FTCC at their trade school. They've got they can train HVAC, train all the linesmen and all these people right there. Just a lot of great investment happening, and that's philanthropic investment that's happening. That check signing, what you saw at Operation Inasmuch, that's people pouring back into this community on top of that private investment that we're seeing from the outside. Something's happening here. We just got to we've got to continue to tell that story.
Well, and the main thing is they didn't have to do it.
That's right.
And that's the point of it. So, KIRK deVIERE is the chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. Always a pleasure to see you on Tuesday. We'll see you at 7:20 next week. Now
Yes,
you make
sir.
an adjustment
on my calendar. That means I'll be here at 7:15.
All right,
5 minutes early.
All right, Ranger buddy. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
Today will be mostly sunny with a high temperature of 89 degrees. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low of 68, and Wednesday will be mostly sunny, but thunderstorms will arrive late in the day with a high of 92. Rain chances will increase Thursday and Friday as a weak cold front approaches the area. However, don't expect a major cool down with high temperatures staying in the upper 80s and low 90s. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunze.
Rachel, 65 right now across the board. Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and Spring Lake. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.
My name is Ron Ross. I need your vote for County Commissioner. If elected, I will focus on what truly matters, you, the people. Budgets will be transparent and efficient. I will support policies that create good jobs while protecting our natural resources. I will keep the voters' message strong. We want results, not continued broken promises. Vote Ron Ross, County Commissioner. Paid for by the committee to elect Ron Ross.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less